From January 3rd. Okay? Because I've had COVID, I've been sick, I felt like shit. I didn't want to fucking do it. But also, like, I wanted to save it for you guys. So, like, I know that this is old news for a lot of you guys, but I want to give my hopefully poignant, ingenious, wonderful, and entertaining kind of God damn it, fucking liquid IVs over here. I want to give hopefully a good reaction to this. I am legitimately seeing this for the first time 8 days later. Mark, you didn't say anything. You just leaned in and looked at us.
Yeah, because I'm still here. I'm just putting on like some fucking pet TV. I had to get up to grab the remote.
Mark is stopping. I want you to recognize what's going on. Hold on. Mark is stopping stream.
It didn't stop stream until you made it a problem.
No. He's getting up from stream to put on television for the fucking cats and dogs. That's how much Mark, like, you may
we only have one of each.
Mark, you may think Mark's a piece of shit, but I want you to know that this man loves animals to such a degree. Yeah, you missed the reaction to that clip. Sorry. He to stop the stream to make sure that what do we got going on? Is this squirrels? What is it? It is squirrels.
It's always squirrels. That's the only things they can consistently get.
All right. He's got so that the animals can watch squirrels in the background. Oh fuck! All right, but
don't make me start fucking chugging honey.
I want to get into this Twitter files. This is actually a first time reaction for me. So like you guys probably have all seen it if you're like really into politics and shit. But I haven't. I have no idea what evidence is released in this dump. So I'm doing a pure first time reaction. Many of the Twitter files that I've done on stream, I've already read them and then I'm just going over them. But this is me reading for the first time. I also kind of fucked myself by not following it on Twitter and like quote tweeting and retweeting for the engagement. And I did all that for you boys because I wanted to be here with you guys because I love you. What's this fucking DM?
No idea.
Oh my God. Hold on.
Yeah, I love my husky. He's going on 8 years old and still hyperactive as fuck.
Now, when he says "I love my husky," what he's talking about is me. I'm many times I've been described as husky.
Definitely not. No.
The clothing size I wear is husky. Does that still a thing? Like, is there still children's clothes for fat people? For fat kids that they call husky? $36.2 channel points. What are you saving up for, dude?
I have 625,000.
I mean, you're the co-host.
Yeah, I have a pretty good lead on everybody.
Also, you can literally fucking like refund your own channel points.
Yeah, it helps a lot. To be fair, I mostly refund everyone's anyways. There's like 3 things that I'd continue to charge for.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so,
Yeah, that's all. We're good.
All right, so, again, first time reaction. I have no idea what's in here. Many of the people who have already seen this have now left because, you know, whatever, fuck them. They're not the real ones. Y'all ain't the real ones. Oh, actually, ads probably just cut on and kicked a bunch of our viewers off, but whatever. So, thread, the Twitter files. How Twitter let the intelligence community in. I feel like I'm about to get really angry tonight. I feel like this is about to piss me the fuck off. And I'm not prepared, and I probably should have read it beforehand, but I wanted to do it live. In August 2017, when Facebook decided to suspend 300 accounts with, quote, suspected Russian origin, Twitter wasn't worried. Its leaders were sure they didn't have a Russia problem. Okay. Interesting, right? I mean, like this was shown in the other Twitter files, right? That like they kept demanding information about like how Russia was involved, and they're like, we don't have like a big Russian bot problem. 3, quote, we did not see a big correlation, no larger patterns. Facebook may take action on hundreds of accounts, and we may take action on about 25. Jesus. Interesting. So this is from Colin Kroll, reply to Russia inbound from Facebook. Now that this story out, it seems like the focus is on purchasing of $100,000 of Facebook ads by these Russian accounts. Understanding that we do not see a big correlation, etc. Okay. And we're in contact with Facebook. Get out of here. Yes, we're in contact with Facebook, and I did get this list. I was on an initial call, yada yada, summaries of the findings, but the high level is that we see multiple account violations, but no larger patterns or items per RTOS. So we just have more confirmation that like Russia was all bullshit pushed by the state and by the DNC, and that like it wasn't even like a major issue on Twitter. Quote, keep the focus on Facebook. Twitter was so sure they had no Russia problem, executives agreed the best PR strategy was to say nothing on record and quietly hurl reporters at Facebook. I mean, that almost makes it sound like maybe there was a bit of a problem, but they were like, it's not big enough to where like we're worried about a big expose showing tens of thousands. So we're just going to keep being like, it's not a problem. Send them to Facebook. If I'm being fair, right? Like maybe there was more than 25, but like they just didn't want reporters hounding them because they knew it wasn't big enough and that they would eventually go away and the problem would go away. Their vulnerabilities on the issue and the follow-up Russia stories on Russia. Fair enough. Quote, Twitter is not the focus of inquiry into Russian election meddling right now. The spotlight is on Facebook, wrote Public Policy VP Colin Kroll. Okay.
This part doesn't seem that bad to me.
I think it's setting up like the claims for later. And like he's just showing the receipts proving that Russia was bullshit and everyone at Twitter knew it was bullshit. Right?
Fair enough.
In September 2017, after a cursory review, Twitter informed the Senate it suspended 22 possible Russian accounts and 179 others with, quote, possible links to those accounts, amid a larger set of roughly 2,700 suspects manually examined. Okay, so they went through like 2,700 sketchy ones, found less than 10% might even have links to something, and of the 2,700 that they deeply investigated, less than 1% were like actually Russian accounts. Okay? Receiving these meager results, a furious Senator Mark Warner of Virginia, fucking hate Mark Warner, for the record. Hey, what's up, Mind to Z? Just going over the Twitter files from January 3rd. I've been sick, so I kind of saved them for when I could really do him justice on a live stream.
He seems really popular. I see his signs all over the place when I'm, doing anything in the city.
You know that it's illegal to take those signs down?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even if you're the owner of the property that those signs are on. Yeah.
That's Jesus Christ.
So if I own a restaurant, right, and then like someone comes and puts a political sign on in the yard of my restaurant, like I legally can't take it down as the restaurant owner.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And so if no one comes and takes them down, they just stay up until they eventually like crumble into disrepair.
Years later.
Yeah.
Or you just like in the middle of the night, just take it down It disappeared. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't get caught. There's no crime if you don't get caught, boys. Please don't quote me on that. Sorry. Still got a bit of the cough left. Ranking Democrat on the Intelligence Committee held an immediate press conference to denounce Twitter's report as, quote, frankly inadequate on every level. Right? So Twitter is the problem for not investigating hardcore enough, because we know that there's thousands of Russian accounts everywhere trying to influence the election to make Donald Trump win because the CIA told us so. I've never seen anyone actually invoke that law. Neither have I. But I just know that technically it's true. You know what else is illegal in the state of Virginia? Any sex acts at all other than missionary with your married partner.
You know what's illegal in Georgia?
What?
Tying off your giraffe to a light post.
There's got to be a hilarious story to that. Somebody did that at some point, and they were like, I didn't know that needed to be a law, but here it is. It's also illegal in the state of Virginia to hang undergarments on a clothesline, even if it's in your property and you have a privacy fence.
Well, yeah, because that's a lewd and lascivious act.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking unenforced laws. Yeah, it's something like that, Toxic Apple. Like it's considered like, government property, the one it's paid for by like political campaigns or something, and then it's like defacing government property or some shit. Hey, Ariel. So, Mark Warner loses his shit, right? And here's just from like news from Reuters. Senator Blastwitter presentation on Russian influence inadequate on every level. Hashtag irony. Can we not be like hashtag irony? Hey, right? Can we not do that?
Well, this seems to be what Mark Warner or Colin Crowell was saying.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying if we could not. Muse Kroll the day after Warner's presser, after receiving an e-circular from Warner's re-election campaign asking for $5 or whatever you can spare. LOL, replied General Counsel Sean Edgett.
That is pretty funny.
Dude, I still get emails from like Nancy Pelosi, and I have no idea why.
I was getting text messages from Democratic pollsters or a Democrat campaign in Georgia. Like, will you take the time to go vote for who I think Warnock on the thing? And I was like, no.
Yeah, Ariel, I'm getting better, but like it's, I'm not streaming until midnight. You know what I mean? Like we're doing what we can to bring you guys this show and not lose you guys. Plus, makes me feel better to do the show, to be honest. Like I need that social engagement, but like don't expect me to be here at fucking midnight. Like it ain't happening. Yeah, it's like this week we're gonna take it slow, and then next week we're starting off with a banger when I'm debating that Liberty chick because I cannot stand that lady.
And apparently neither can the Mises Caucus Twitter account.
Yeah, LPMC blocked her. But she's about to be at 4,000 follows on Twitter. Just spreading anti-vax conspiracy theories about autism and flat earther, and talking about how anyone that dislikes Meghan Markle is a problem because we need to support the monarchy, and doesn't understand economics or libertarianism really at all. And openly admits that she has no empathy for the poor or homeless, that having empathy for not having any empathy for homeless people ever is the first sign that she was a libertarian, which is not a part of libertarianism.
And not a good look for us.
Right. And just every step of the way, she just says crazy shit that's like not true. And it's like, dude, like, fuck off. I will gatekeep you and like flame your ass. That Liberty chick, she's only been on Twitter like a month. And she's at like 4,000, but apparently she has a large Instagram account with like 18,000 followers because she wears tight spandex as an attractive girl and, does like gym shit where she's showing off her ass. and then she talks to people about why vaccines cause autism. And that makes her a libertarian. No, Roland. What she's saying is you have to like Meghan Markle because she pissed off the monarchy, and that like disliking Meghan Markle shows that you're not a real libertarian, or like shows problems because like you're supporting the monarchy. She's the worst glowy ever. She's glowy as fuck, but like after engaging with her enough, I don't think she's a fed or anything. I think she's just a moderately attractive girl that got semi-famous by yelling and demanding attention and saying stupid shit, but she's an attractive female, and if you can go into the liberty movement and scream for attention, you'll get it. You'll get all the money and attention you need. Like that's not even like a liberty thing, right? Like if you're an attractive female and you go online and you demand attention and you show your assets, like you're going to get attention and money. Like you're not going to rise to the creme de la creme at the very top, but like you can rise high enough to make like an income online no matter what the fuck you say. So long as you just engage enough and show up. I'm less worried. I don't give a fuck if she does that. I just don't want her to fucking people thinking that's what libertarianism is, because she's wrong all the time. There's no idea what she's talking about. So I'm going to debate her on whether or not vaccines cause autism.
You probably can't put that debate up on YouTube.
That debate is not going to be on YouTube. It'll be on Twitter, and it'll probably be Twitch, and it'll probably be a Rumble exclusive after the VOD disappears on Twitch. I don't know why I still got a bit of the COVID brain, man. I swear, like I'm still not 100% mentally there. Anyways, moving on.
I think you should have brought the Super Brain C4s.
Yeah, right. Keep producing material. After meeting with congressional leaders, Kroll wrote, quote, Warner has political incentive to keep this issue at the top of the news, maintain pressure on us and rest of industry to keep producing material for them. What? Is he admitting that? No, he's just saying that the incentive is to keep producing material, not necessarily that Twitter needs to. That's very weird. We knew going into addressing and solving the malicious bot problems are singularly focused on what transpired in 2016, and we simply don't have a lot of data or conclusions to share with them on that front currently. We're also getting hurt by third-party academics and researchers who tap our API to pull together flawed reports, painting the bot Russian troll problem as a significant presence on Twitter. They also claim to monitor these Russian networks on Twitter and then report on their activities. It was evident in the room with staff investigators that these researchers had already briefed the committees and asserted Twitter as a major problem. These studies are also cited in recent media stories. I love how Twitter in the background is openly admitting that like academics and researchers and NGO people are just making up bullshit and like feeding the state the information the state's paying them for. Like this is the part that should have been highlighted more. Like this isn't something that this shouldn't be buried at the bottom, right? Like the idea that you have NGOs and we know like what was the does anybody remember the name of the organization that was like former intelligence communities, individuals that were like tracking fake accounts, and then we later learned that they just made up shit?
Oh shit!
I can't remember the name.
I'm completely blanking on the name.
Does anybody in chat remember what company that was? That was like one of the
Cyber Ninja?
No, Cyber Ninja were the people that investigated the Arizona Maricopa County audit. That's what they got known for.
Yeah, I can't remember. Shadowborn's gonna come in like 2 minutes and be like, "It was this company."
That or Roland.
Yeah, one of them.
When you get it, let me know, chat. I'm Shadowborns. I'm blanking too. Not only that, gets juicier later. They show it's to put pressure on Twitter. Oh, God. Taking their cues from Hillary Clinton, Kroll added, Dems We're taking cues from Hillary Clinton, who that week said, quote, "It's time for Twitter to stop dragging its heels and live up to the fact that its platform is being used as a tool for cyber warfare." Yeah, I think we all remember the bloviating bullshit that like all the Democrats were saying was true.
And especially Clinton, she's, flailing to blame anyone except herself for being an awful fucking candidate.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched me on Friday, which was like the first time I came back. We were supposed to stream on YouTube, but our YouTube got hit with a community guideline strike for telling the truth about COVID vaccinations and doing more due diligence than anybody on the left or right within the politics space other than like actual doctors. Nevertheless, I went on John Burke's podcast, and we had a surprise debate questions, and this was kind of brought up, the Twitter files. I hadn't seen this one, but we were talking about other stuff with Rob Knorr and Dylan Burns and Sansol and Joe Lewis and Aircraft Sparky. And I don't know if you guys watched that, but if you saw that, there was and that will go up on the YouTube eventually once the community guideline strike goes away. But when we were talking about this, it was like Dylan Burns and Sansol still believe all this shit. Like it's stuck. Like it's like every Democrat is still stuck with, well, there was, you guys are really overplaying that it's just a, couple $100,000 in Facebook ads. Like there was thousands upon thousands, and the Kremlin teaches them to do this, and all their officers are doing this, and they're doing everything they can to attack in a way that no one else has before. Yeah, it did happen in Arkansas. I just can't remember the fucking name of the company. In growing anxiety over its PR problems, Twitter formed a, quote, Russia task force to proactively self-investigate. Team, thanks for being drafted to the Russia task force. For the next month, this team will focus on conducting a more fulsome retro of the 2016 election, preparing for open congressional hearings at the end of the month, telling Twitter's story publicly, including robust outreach to outside researchers, reporters, and members of Congress, evaluating whether policy changes are needed. This is so insane that like this is part of the reason why we have a monopoly. Like, how do I put this? When we talk about free market capitalism, right? Like, it's not just laws that like keep us from having free market capitalism. It's not just taxes. It's not just tariffs. It's also shit like this, right? Where the state can just drum up some bullshit, and then a company is either forced to collapse or spend resources and assets to answer the call of made up accusations for politicians to drum up fear and anxiety for votes, right? Like, if I was a company competing with Twitter, right, and I didn't have the same profit model as Twitter, right? Let's say I made a product just like Twitter, except there was no advertisements and there was no Twitter Blue or anything like that. It was purely a donation model, right? And let's say I operated just above red. And I was okay with that because I made a Twitter thing. It was great. A lot of
Cambridge
basketball.
Analytica.
Cambridge Analytica. Thank you. That's it. I'm writing that down because I totally forgot that. And they've done a bunch of bullshit studies. Okay. A lot of basketball, but first the Rams go for championship. You mean like VCU Rams? Are you like saying that because because you know that I went to VCU? Or are you talking about I don't know anything about sports. Like, what I know about sports is the word sports.
and some of the games that are played.
Mm-hmm. VCU, fuck George Mason. All right. You know what? All right. Fuck him. Fuck George Mason. I don't know. I don't know if they're good people or bad people, but fuck them anyways. I will support the continued success of the team sports to the alma mater that also brings in a lot of money to the city I currently live in. More money, better restaurants around me, I guess. Yay. I'll drink to that. I'm drinking.
There are a lot of good restaurants around VCU.
I'm drinking. What is it? What is that
Death
coffee
Wish.
called? I'm drinking Death Wish. I'll drink toast Death Wish coffee to you.
I don't have any more fluids to toast with.
So, preparing for you, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, fascism, economic fascism, isn't just laws, regulations, licensing fees, import, export, taxation, etc. It's also just the fact that companies have to maintain more revenue, or I should say more profit, right? And hold on to that profit, because at any point in time, the state might come in and demand bullshit from them and accuse them of shit and collapse them unless they spend resources trying to ferret out a non-existent problem. Also, I'm going to switch up the music. Let's we're getting later into the night. Let's switch to lo-fi, boys.
No, I thought you were going to put on something hard and driving.
Yeah, of course, exactly what I was. I end up yelling when I play too much EDM. I start getting louder and louder. The Russia task force started mainly with data shared from counterparts at Facebook, centered around accounts supposedly tied to Russia Internet Research Agency. But the search for Russian perfidy was a dud. TLDR, we have initial lists of suspicious advertising content. A lot of benign content. Need to further investigate before we can draw a conclusion. Models built that produce lists of tweets around 8,000 around election content, and a further 700 accounts with potential list of accounts with Russian potentially linked. Like, you can already see that it's less than 1,000 accounts, like less than I have followers personally, and I'm a nobody, right? Like I have 1,060 something followers right now. Okay, so way less than I have followers are potentially linked with Russia. Hey, thanks for the Prime sub. I love Prime subs. Prime subs are like a real gift. Like, because spending $5 randomly to me is awesome, and it shows that you care and you want the content to increase, and you want me to be able to order Dino Nuggies for my kids instead of Tyson chicken nuggets, and I appreciate that, right? But a Prime sub, it's not about the money. It's about the fact that you only get one, and you choose to give it to me, and I appreciate when I get that one. Do you guys think that Jackson Hinkle has had intercourse with Jimmy Dore or some plastic mold of Jimmy Dore? I think...
I'd be impressed if he had his own mold of Jimmy Dore.
Right? I think Jackson Hinkle is... I fought and advocated that he not be kicked off Twitch, and multiple times he's been kicked off of Twitter and YouTube. I've stated the same thing. I fight for his free speech, if you will. I think companies can kick anybody off, but obviously we have government involvement, and I don't necessarily, I personally favor free speech. It's a value that I hold, even though I don't think it's necessarily a violation of the NAP if a private company kicks someone off. That said, I think Jackson Hinkle is a grifter that will take any fucking idea that's popular or controversial to get clicks and engagement, and I don't really have any respect for him as a person, and that level of not having respect for him means that I don't give a fuck what he fucks. If he fucks his couch raw, I don't care. Fuck your couch. I don't care. Don't fuck your couch. I don't care.
Do clean it if you choose to use it that way, though, in between uses.
Right.
Because, that'll gunk up and it gets painful.
I don't care if he goes, fucking full-blown Jean-Claude Van Damme, dips his penis in hot wax and then rolls it in glass and rolls it in rocks and pebbles and then fucks his couch because he likes to see the couch torn up and know that his rock hard member did that. Do you, buddy? I don't care what you fuck or do.
2 sponges and a rubber glove. That's all I'm saying.
Fucking making prison pocket pussies over here.
No, I just merely referenced sponges and PPE.
That's funny. October 13, 2017, no evidence of a coordinated approach. All of the accounts found seem to be lone wolf type activity, different timing, spending, targeting, under $10,000 in ad spend. Geez, so like basically they found nothing. Put together an entire task force and still were like, yeah, there's no Russian bot problem. I mean, there's some, but I mean, like, I would expect pretty much every government to be involved at some level in like spending money towards psychological operations, or I'm sure America spends more money on like misinformation and psyops in Russia than like than this, right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but we're the good guys. We have to spend that money so they can't.
Yeah. Hello, Sir Leviticus. First round of Russia investigation, 15 high-risk accounts, 3 of which have connections with Russia, although 2 are Russia Today. So they came up and they were like, we've found 3 accounts that are pro-Russia, spending money for the Russian propaganda. Also, 2 of them are known Russian, like Russian news organizations that are pro-Russia.
It's like, so yeah, shocker on their standings.
Right. Oh, fuck, that's hilarious. Key next steps and document detail methodology. Oh my God, this is fucking hilarious. Quote, built new version of the model that is lower precision but higher recall, which allows to catch more items. We aren't seeing substantially more suspicious accounts. We expect to find about 20 with a small amount of spending. Jesus. October 23rd, 2017. Finished with investigation. 2,500 full manual account reviews. We think this is exhaustive. 32 suspicious accounts, and only 17 of those are connected with Russia. Only 2 of those have significant spending. One of them, which is Russia Today, remaining less than $10,000 in spending.
So genuinely, like, nothing. There's like really nothing going on with it. It's pretty minimal.
Yes, I mean, but this is showing the receipts on the back end that like Twitter and the idea that like Russians had anything to do with the 2016 election is just complete utter bullshit. At least not on Twitter or Facebook. On Facebook, it's $100,000 worth of ads, and on Twitter, apparently, if you exclude Russia Today, less than $10,000 in spending. Like, how many of you can't stop getting TikTok ads on Twitter? Like, if this is Russia interfering, then I want to know, where are the Democrats utterly losing their shit because of Chinese money spending on advertising to get your children hooked on degenerate TikTok?
Yeah, but China makes all our stuff, so like, it's cool.
Right? I'm just saying. Hypocrisy, thy name is politicians? I don't fucking know. Twitter's search finding only 2 significant accounts, one of which is Russia Today, was based on the same data that later inspired panic headlines like, quote, Russian influence reached 126 million through Facebook alone. Buff Bernie memes flipped Michigan for Trump. Yeah, the Bernie Bros really did flip Trump. Yeah, that's true. Like, what if the entire What if the entire plot really was just to get Americans to overspend on investigations? I mean, think about it. Every single dollar spent on this investigation is money pulled out of GDP, right? Like it's money taken out of our economy and spent investigating. Now some of that's going back into the economy, right? Like if you hire a private contractor to like look at data, then that money's going back into the economy, right? So like it's not a perfect one-to-one thing. But like Russia spent what, 110 grand, and they got us to spend millions and millions and millions, most of it wasted on government employees. From what I understand, the Facebook stuff was both supporting Republicans and Democrats. It's probably just politicians fucking money laundering, and they're just blaming it on Russia. If we're honest.
Oh, that is a good plan.
You know what I mean? Like fucking, you know, like go through a company, get some Russian accounts to like buy ads for me, right? You know what I mean? And then be like, oh, Russia interfered with the elections.
I'm a victim of their interference.
Right. And then, you know what I mean? And just get like, and you can run like, you just money launder fucking political contributions so you don't have to pay taxes on it. Or maybe a little quid pro quo, you know?
It's a good plan, man. That is a good plan.
Right? The failure of the Russia task force to produce material worsened the company's PR crisis. In the weeks after Warner's presser, a torrent of stories sourced to the Intel committee poured into the news. An example being Politico's October 13th, Twitter deleted data potentially crucial to Russia probes. What? Did they? Interesting. Quote, were Twitter a contractor for the FSB? Oh, God. I forgot how fucking batshit insane people used to be about the Russia stuff. And then, like, you read it again, you're like, oh, wow, these people were fucking insane. Like, you almost forget, like, the only like, real Russia I remember, for the most part, like vividly, is Rachel Maddow. But, like, I forgot that, like, so many people and so many organizations were losing their shit trying to prove that, like, America's election was stolen in 2016. They could not have built a more effective disinformation platform. John Hopkins professor and Intel committee expert Thomas Rid told Politico.
But the name shows up pretty frequently.
As Congress threatened costly legislation and Twitter began was subject to more bad press fueled by the committees. Look, Mark, I make a lot of typos, all right? And for whatever reason, my most viral tweets always have a fucking typo in them. It's like 80% of the time I'm good and I make sure there's nothing like egregious. But like 20% of the time, like they just slip through. And it always seems to be that like the tweets that get like more than 1,000 views are the ones with fucking typos in them. Okay? But if you're a journalist and you're putting out tweets that get like 500,000 fucking views, can you like, I don't know, pre-type this and edit it first? And Twitter was subject to more.
It's pretty bad.
Was subject to more bad press fueled by the committees. The company changed its tune about the smallness of its Russia problem. And there it is. You know what's really interesting is I'm going to bring some drama into this. I don't normally talk about drama, but I do follow drama. And I bet you guys didn't know that. Is that I pay attention to the drama that happens with streamers and shit. So All Gas No Brakes is being accused of sexually assaulting and raping multiple women. And one of the accusers that came out is stating that the guy from All Gas No Brakes came over, like convinced himself that like he had a hotel room issue or some kind of issue to stay at a girl's house, and then repeatedly asked her for sex over and over and over again. And then eventually she conceded and was like, and had sex, and he was like asking to stay over multiple times. She caved, asking to sleep in her bed multiple times. She caved. And then she kept telling him, no, I don't want to have sex with you. And then eventually was like, yeah, fine. Right? And so there's this question of like, is that consent? Right? If someone asks you over and over and over again, and then you eventually say yes, is that consent? I don't think it is. Right? Like, now I think like how our justice system handles that should be different, right? Because you did get active and consent. But like the idea behind consent is that it's supposed to be enthusiastic consent, right? Like the person has to want to do it. They don't just mouth the words, right? If I put a gun to your head and say like, tell me it's okay to fuck you, and then you say it's okay to fuck me, right? Like that's not enthusiastic consent. It's under duress. And I think when a man is alone in your home, right? And constantly badgering you to have sex and then wears you down and you eventually say yes, I think you're getting into the realm of not really having consent. I don't know what we do with that gray area, right? Because you should be brave enough to say no, right? You should be brave enough to say, if you ask me one more goddamn time, I'm calling the police, right? Like you're getting the fuck out of my house. I told you I'm not having sex with you. Like you can't just keep fucking asking me. At the same time, if I was a girl and some dude was in my house and kept asking me over and over and over again, I don't know how I would respond in that situation, right? Like to me, that feels like coercion. Like a man is alone in your home and kind of like progressively kind of asking until you say the right answer. I might feel threatened in some capacity. Like that doesn't feel like enthusiastic consent. Is the salesman selling you on something robbing you if he's persistent? No. But is the salesman alone in your home at night and stronger and bigger than you? Like Tony from Verizon knocking on your door and like won't take no for an answer until you close the door is a little different than Tony from Verizon walking into your home, being invited in, and then constantly asking you and like standing over you and like maybe looking at you. Like we have to admit there's a gray area there, right?
Yeah, it seems like going along to get along instead of getting raped.
She was stronger and bigger than him, to be fair. I mean, like I did see the girl in question and she did look like she probably got a mean right hook. I'll give you that. But I'm just saying like we're in a gray area here and that's not consent as far as I'm concerned. But I don't know that that's necessarily rape either, right? Like that's probably like communication errors and like an unfortunate victim on both ends, right? But nevertheless, I think this is very similar to that situation. Where like Twitter at any one point in time could have came forward, done their own press release and said, no, fuck you. We've done a very thorough investigation and you're fucking drumming up conspiracy theories to try and prove shit's going on that's not going on. We've looked at the methodology of these bullshit government contractors that you've put out and their methodology's trash. We have the data and we'll be open and transparent about it, but you are threatening us and you are like coercing us. You're threatening us with committees on conspiracy theories and we're fucking sick of it. And this is a violation of First Amendment, the pressure that you're putting on us to try and force us to come up with the right answer to fit your fucking narrative. They could have done that. Just like that girl could have been like, fuck you, get out of my house. You keep asking me for sex. It's inappropriate. I've already told you no. I'm calling the police if you don't leave right now. But also there's an understanding of like danger, right? Like when someone's persistent and they hold some power over you, right? This is worse than the situation with the all gas, no brakes guy, right? At least as reported. For all I know, she's full of shit. You know what I mean? But I mean, she could just be making shit up. Like that's always a possibility. But you get what I'm saying? Like this is coercion as far as I'm concerned.
I would, because it's hard to know, because we weren't there and everything. But yeah, the way it's described, I would agree. It feels coercive.
Right. But with the Twitter situation, I mean, like this is clearly coercive. Like when you're hauling people in front of committees and accusing them of falsities and making up conspiracy theories with the power to fucking when you wield the acts of authority and you're working with companies that your intelligence community are buying to create fake data to support your bullshit, right? It's fraud, it's coercion, it's and this is the type of shit that creates monopolies within social media. Because
Literally,
like I said,
fraud, waste, and abuse in the government.
yeah, I mean, like if I created a Twitter product that competed with Twitter, right, and did everything that Twitter did, but I didn't take ads and I didn't have Twitter Blue or anything, right, and it was a perfectly free service, and it was purely a donation model, the donation model would probably just barely cover like the server space and like the employees that are needed to work to like make the site continue to run. I'd likely be in the red unless I found some other source of ad revenue, right? Like maybe the ad revenue wouldn't be purchased by, like would have to be corporate purchases that like we go through or something. But whatever, like there's plenty of ways that you could run a competitor that doesn't make as much money as Twitter because your revenue source is just, your revenue model is different, right? Except eventually I'd be unable to compete because of the state coercion. Not just the laws and regulation and taxes, but also the coercion would force me to pay more money to like investigate shit like this based off of conspiracy theorists from fucking the FBI and the CIA and whatever other 3-letter organization. The government is more like she's on the man's private island in shark-infested waters and he asked for it, or she can't leave, or she can leave in the seaplane. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. But I'm just saying, like, I see a kind of a similarity here, right? Where, like, at any one point in time, Twitter could have told the government to go fuck themselves. But, like, there's a lot of coercive elements here and pressure that, like, this all seems to be done under duress. As Congress threatened costly legislation and Twitter began, we read that one, sorry. Quote, "Hi guys, this is from Colin Crowell, I guess is how you say it again. Just passing along for awareness, the write-up here from the Washington Post today on potential legislation or new FEC regulations that may affect our political advertising." Sup, Fabian, you lost fat? Did I? Or do I just have a better looking beard? Also,
I don't know. I mean, we didn't eat much for like about a week.
Also, I've been taking cold showers every day since like December 22nd. And even when we got our hot water back, I'm still on the cold shower train. All right? I've got damn near a month in me now of like only using pure cold water showers. And it's actually been pretty good for me. I feel like it's helping my joints, to be honest.
I still take them nice and hot. I steam that place up.
Well, no homo, you look good. It can be homo. I don't care. Ain't no judgment here.
He's an equal opportunity kind of fella.
I mean, if you look like a dude, I'm not, I mean, I appreciate the compliment and that's about as far as that goes. But I mean, like,
No, fuck running. Running sucks balls, and those people who tell you they're getting a runner's high, no, they're delusional from hypoxia, and they're lying to you, and they're bad people, and I hate them.
I'm just saying.
Dirty smear merchants, that's what they are.
I'm just saying, there's nothing more gay than having sex with a man that claims that they're a man. And, Finster, hit me up anytime you want. Anytime you want. All right, boy? Any day of the week.
It's man.
I'm just saying. As a runner, I can say it sucks, yeah.
I stay in shape by walking my dog roughly 6 miles a day. And Scott knows how fast I walk, so I think he can attest that it's not like...
Fucker.
Did you have an uh-oh whoopsie?
I had an uh-oh whoopsie. I just spilled coffee on myself.
Well, good thing it's below the camera.
It's Death Wish, so it's dark as fuck. I gotta go change my shirt. I'll be right back.
And it's on a white shirt, too. Yeah, it looks bad. I don't think that's saying... I mean, you should probably put some Dawn on it. And let it soak. Okay, apparently he didn't give a fuck about his undershirts. That's cool. Finster has an oil prince. Oh my god, that would be great. Just like 1 month of having some Saudi prince fucking sugar daddy. Oh man, I would love it. And he just disappears like, oh, can't be caught watching you guys in my country. And it's like, no, we get it. Thanks for the money though. Like, we'll put it to good use.
All right, so continuing on. I really ought to start putting ADHD back in my streams. Because I do be just randomly going off on weird shit. May affect our political advertising. Yep. Hi guys, just passing along for awareness. The write-up here from the Washington Post today on potential legislation. Yeah, may affect political advertising. Now, what do you just... It's a double tweet. All right. In Washington, weeks after the first briefing, Twitter leaders were told by Senate staff that Senator Warner feels like tech industry was in denial for months. Added, I love that the politicians will gaslight themselves and allow themselves to be gaslit by the intelligence community. And then that's just the word of God, right? It's like the CIA is, the intelligence community. We're going to take everything they say as truth. And no amount of data, no amount of information, no amount of receipts, no amount of the companies themselves telling you what's going on will ever convince them otherwise. Because there's no ladies in the chat tonight. I don't think there are any ladies here tonight. Unless Stardust Crusader's still around. But I mean, I talked shit on
the bimbos.
I did talk shit on the bimbos. Why do you keep bringing up the bimbos?
I thought that's where you were going. That's the last person you talk shit on.
No. I was Stardust Crusader we were talking about Tool and Pussifer and A Perfect Circle, and then I was like, we can't be friends if you don't like Pet by A Perfect Circle, even if you say Tool's better. And then she was like, well, I guess we can't be friends. And I was like, maybe she got
way to go.
I drove her away. I'm sorry, boys.
I mean, and I've done it too. I pissed off chat. I mean, apparently liking pineapple pizza is a grave sin. But they all stayed around, so you must have really upset her.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't mind pineapple on pizza. It's not a preference of mine. But, if we're being 100% ham and pineapple, I'll eat it.
I want another chicken satay pizza.
Dude, we had chicken satay pizza the other day. It was so good. It was sweet and spicy and savory, and it was everything. It was so good.
It weirdly tasted like pad thai pizza.
Yeah, there was
it had this weird taste,
a nutty taste to it at certain bites. Yeah, there's a spot not far from us that sells a chicken satay pizza, and it's so good.
It was so good that we're tempted to try their shrimp pizza.
Yeah, I really am. I'm I kind of want to check out the shrimp pizza. But moving on from chicken satay pizza and whether or not fuck Finster, in Washington, weeks after the first briefing, Twitter leaders were told by Senate staff that Senator Warner feels like tech industry was in denial for months. We talked about that. Added an Intel staffer, big interest in Politico article about deleted accounts. Senator Warner says feels like denial, yada yada. Feels the understand the seriousness of what happened. Big interest in Politico about deleted accounts and tweets. And said the Intel staff may seek clarification in writing from us. They need to know what data they could seek from us or whether certain information is gone. Twitter pledged to work with them on their desire to legislate. And this is how regulatory capture happens, boys. It's a dick measuring contest between politicians and large corporations so that politicians will eventually cave to whatever the fuck these large corporations want, but at the same time they'll put the pressure on these large corporations right? And everyone gets out happier. The politician gets some money. He gets some campaign donations. He gets to say that he regulated the industry, right? And then the corporation gets drummed up in fear, wastes a bunch of money, and then they get to help write legislation that makes sure that none of their competitors can become competitors, so that they can have a state-granted monopoly by the very regulation that's designed to regulate them. It's a big fucking club, and you ain't in it.
It's a brilliant plan, though. Excellent tactics.
Right? And they both just put their fucking dicks on the table and see whose is bigger. Corporations is usually bigger, right? As much as we're like the ANCAP, libertarian, love free market economy, it's usually the corporations with the bigger dick in the swinging competition. I must hereby in Fabian Liberty chat condemn pineapple and pizza. Oh, fuck off. Speaking of bimbos, I was watching G&G Tabletop. An X-ray girl got her iconic magic item. Came up with the idea of calling her magic item the bimbo if she chose a magic longbow. Okay. I don't think I've ever watched Geeks and Gamers play tabletop, though I would love to fucking... That is one thing I would actually love to do with Geeks and Gamers. Because, like, they play a lot of Fortnite. I don't give a fuck. Talk a lot about comic books and, like, Disney Plus and how the new show is super woke. And it's like, that's cool. Tell that story. That's the avenue that you guys do. Not really interested in it. But, like, tabletop, I would fucking love to show up to a D&D game with Geeks and Gamers. Like, I would be entertaining and great. If anybody knows anybody at Geeks and Gamers, we know one. Ryan, like we've rated him a couple times and he's rated us before. Maybe I should DM him and be like, yo, look, I'm not really into comic books and shit, but I will play a fucking 5th edition game with you guys one day. I promise I know what I'm doing and it'll be fun. Nah, Hawaiian pizza is better than anything the Brits have put out. Yeah,
Facts.
That's a really low bar.
Well, wait. Is a beef Wellington British?
Yeah, beef Wellington. I think it might be. Hold on, let's look up
beef Wellington
wins.
It
might be French.
Okay, what about spotted dick?
Yep. Beef Wellington is indeed of English origin, made out of filet steak coated with pâté, often pâté de foie gras. French. Duzel's French, right? I mean, like, there's a lot of French ingredients in this English dish, all right? I don't know, like, where, hold on, what's the history? Hold on. It was named after Arthur Wellesley, first Duke of Wellington. The precise origin of the name is unclear, and not definite connection between the dish and the Duke has been found. I don't know, man. I still have a
hang on, go back up. The Leah Hyslop paragraph. The dish's similarity to the French filet de boeuf en cru might imply that beef Wellington was a timely patriotic rebranding of a trendy continental dish, just like hamburgers.
Yep, these fucking British stole that shit.
Okay, check up on spotted dick then. Or Yorkshire pudding.
I kind of don't want to Google spotted dick right now.
Might be. I'll do it. I'll find out on my side.
I'm just saying. Au revoir. Probably to celebrate him beating Napoleon.
Okay, so it's an English steamed pudding. All right.
I'm going to continue. Pledge to work with him on their desire to legislate. We went over that. Quote, knowing that our ads policy and product changes are an effort to anticipate congressional oversight, I wanted to share some relevant highlights of the legislation Senator Warner, Klobuchar, and McCain will be introducing, wrote Policy Director Carlos Monnier soon after. So of course, yeah. I mean, like political pressure causes them to change. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's just kind of continuing on the same vein we were talking about. Committees appeared to have leaked, even as Twitter prepared to change its ad policy and remove Russia Today and Sputnik to placate Washington. Congress turned the heat up more, apparently leaking the larger base list of 2,700 accounts. So, hold on. So they leaked the 2,700 accounts, which 99% of them had zero connections to anything whatsoever. It was only 3 accounts that they found were actually problematic, and like 22 were like linked to Russia in some way.
I mean, that's how like government work is. Like, no, just make some shit up. Like if you don't have work, make work.
Yeah. We'll do on House Intel, the committees. I mean, that, you know what? You should have expanded on that, because that is so fucking true. Busy work and making shit up to then fix the shit you made up is like the cornerstone of any government position. We'll do on House Intel. The committees appear to have leaked the account names based on reporting of experts combing through the list and revealing new info, like on Brexit. Oh, God. Reporters from all over started to call Twitter about Russia links. BuzzFeed, working with the University of Sheffield, claimed to find a, quote, new network on Twitter that, quote, close connections to Russian-linked bot accounts. Yeah, they're just making up shit. Reporters making up shit. Fucking Russia hysteria. It will only embolden them. Twitter internally did not want to endorse the BuzzFeed Sheffield findings.
That makes sense.
I prefer not to ask the reporters at BuzzFeed for their methodology. It will only embolden them, and it indirectly undermines the credibility and... What does it say? The credibility and authority
Priority?
on our approach.
Oh, authority. Yeah.
Furthermore, they will chart the correspondence in their follow-up, e.g., Twitter asked for our methodology, which has resulted in more suspensions. This calls into question the effectiveness of their own tools, end quote. That's actually really smart. They're 100% right, and that's exactly what the media would do. They would just they'll use anything that you say or do against you, and they will spin it into some bullshit story.
In the court of public opinion.
Yeah. Senate Intel Committee is asking possible to whip something together. Still, when the BuzzFeed piece came out, the Senate asked for, quote, a write-up of what happened, end quote. Twitter was soon apologizing for the same accounts they'd initially told the Senate were not a problem. Yep, we'll work on something now and share with this group for feedback shortly. It's asking for a write-up of what happened. Accounts, is it possible to whip something together? Is there any way we can come up with some bullshit? Because they won't leave us alone, because they're demanding proof of their conspiracy theories. And if we don't give them, we don't validate their conspiracy theories and validate the lies of the FBI and CIA so that free speech can be censored, then like we'll have problems. How's this not coercion? And this doesn't even seem like direct coercion, right? Like, this is just a problem of a government that has too much power and has a monopoly on on these things. Is that you're forced to respond to their conspiracy theories. And like, to them, they just believe their conspiracy theories. Not all of them, obviously. Some of them are clearly doing this to like gain power and, you know, and justify their positions, etc. But half of these people, like, they lap up their own bullshit. And then it becomes you're either with us or you're against us. Reporters now know this is a model that works. This cycle, threatened legislation, wedded to scare headlines published by congressional intel sources, followed by Twitter caving to moderation asks, would later be formalized in partnerships with law enforcement. Hi, everyone. This is still 2017. We've now suspended all accounts. will take a hit in the press that moves from BuzzFeed to more establishment publications will work to contain it. Relatedly, we can expect more investigation of accounts that are tangentially associated with the IRA handover to the U.S. committees, buoyed by academic brand names. Reporters now know this is a model that works. She's like, I had no idea Twitter was literally just sitting there like, there's nothing we can do.
Their hands really were kind of tied in a lot of this.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's crazy to see that, like, before that we have the receipts proving that, like, they were helpless.
The court of public opinion really fucked them.
Yeah.
Like how easily swayed people were by just a good headline.
Hey, what's up, Wellspring? So Wellspring, just to catch up, the state and the intelligence community leak information, lied about they didn't lie. They just leaked information that was inaccurate. Got BuzzFeed to get on all of this different stuff. And where we're at now, at least in this section of Twitter files, is that Twitter's hands were completely tied. I might actually owe a little bit of an apology with this to fucking to Yaron Brook. Not that Yaron Brook gives a fuck, nor does Yaron Brook even look at his Twitter. 99% of the time he's just retweeting people, and I'm pretty sure it's an assistant. Pretty sure his assistant manages his Twitter. But I do owe a little bit of an apology because like this earlier information really shows that like Twitter gave up and just accepted that the media push, the DNC, and politicians own them and can make them do whatever they want. And like their company will collapse if they don't just play ball. I mean, listen to how sad and depressing this is. I'll read it again for a couple people coming in, right? Right? Hi, everyone. Given we've now suspended all accounts, the accounts that they said weren't a problem before and they proved weren't a problem, we will take a hit in the press that moves from BuzzFeed to more establishment publications. We'll work to contain it. Relatedly, we can expect more investigation of accounts that are tangentially associated with the IRA handover to the United States committees, buoyed by academic brand names. Reporters now know this is a model that works. Like they're like, we're fucked, we caved, and it's gonna get worse, and there's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, Musk is heroic for being the person that stands up and says, fuck you, I'm showing the receipts. Fuck all of you. Twitter soon settled on its future posture. In public, it removed content, quote, at our sole discretion. Privately, they would, quote, offboard anything identified by the U.S. intelligence community as a state-sponsored entity conducting cyber operations. Internal guidance. Any user identified by the U.S. intelligence community as a state-sponsored entity conducting cyber operations against targets associated with the U.S. or other elections or an entity associated with such operations shall not be allowed to advertise on Twitter. And remember that the Department of Homeland Security sent them someone that had less than 100 followers, that their bio was talking about weed dealers hit me up in DMs, and their banner was of the fucking the stallion from the Denver airport, right? As like secretly working for intelligence communities. That's how ridiculous it is of the shit they just make up. If you don't believe me, that's in the Intercept article, right? Like, anybody that they don't fucking like becomes an intelligence problem that Twitter needs to get rid of. And because of all of the duress, they're pressured into lying to the American public, well, to the world. They just lied. They committed fraud. All of these people need to go to jail for fraud.
State-sponsored fraud.
Right? And I have no problem with allowing these people to turn state's evidence so that we can fire every single FBI, CIA, DHS person involved, right? Either give us names or go to jail. Give us names, give us receipts, give us every document you have. Tell us who we can prosecute at the state, or you need to go down for fraud. Because this is all lies. But of course, that would require the government to investigate itself. So,
Well, don't hold your breath.
Luck. Good luck with that. No, I agree, Wellspring. Twitter let the USIC into its moderation process. It would not leave. Wrote Cuomo in an email to the company's leaders, "We will not be reverting to the status quo." Overall, my sense is that the political terrain has shifted in DC in the run-up to these hearings. The tech industry is going to get a lot more scrutiny and questioning, and we will not be reverting to the status quo ante in DC soon. State's evidence wouldn't be more like anarchist evidence? Well, no. State's evidence would mean that sure, if you want to say like what needs to happen is the dissolution of the United States government, and then the anarchist communes and or the others collectively prosecute these people, like that doesn't really make sense. They're the inmates of the concentration camps outnumbering the guards, but they walked knowingly into the death chambers. Oof. That's a rough way to put it, but it's true. I mean, it's the panopticon effect, right? Everyone feels like everyone else is watching them, and that they don't know if they're the one being watched at any given moment, so they feel like they're always being watched. So nobody sticks up. But if everyone fucking stood up, you could easily, literally, you could dissolve the American government tomorrow if every American just said, "Fuck you, I'm not paying taxes. I'm not doing any of that." Like if every American just decided to quit the United States government, the United States government would be over instantaneously.
Yeah, we'll never see that happen, though.
Yeah, obviously. Like, you're not going to, Mark, 8% of Americans are young Earth creationists, right? Like, you're never going to see all of Americans agree on something like that. 330 plus million people. They're not going to agree on anything. They can't even agree on whether or not the fucking Earth is round, right? You know what I mean? Like, you think they're going to agree on the dissolution of the state?
Most of us are right.
You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? 8% of Americans think that, the earth is only 4,000 years old, and cavemen Adam and Eve were riding on fucking dinosaur backs because that's the way Jesus wanted it.
No. The fossils are actually planted by Satan to trick us into thinking the earth is older than it is.
I don't know. I don't know enough young Earth creationists to know which ones subscribe to that theory or the other. I've heard some of them say exactly what you're saying, right? There's a big fossil record in South America, and they say that Satan put it there to trick us. And then I've also heard them say that man and dinosaur walked the earth together. So
it's interesting. It's a fun story,
right?
But you know who wrote better stories? Jules Verne.
You ever been to that museum, that Christian museum about Noah's flood?
No, I have not, but I know what you're talking about.
When we get enough money, I know that this week we have extremely low numbers because we took off time for COVID and shit, and so our audience size is kind of 2/3 of what it was before we left. But we'll pick back up. We'll be back, boys. Don't you worry. It'll take us a week to get back in, get our audience back up and stuff, but we'll get back in. But when we get big enough to be able to buy a plane ticket to do shit like that, we're fucking going. We are going, and if I have to sneak a fucking camera in, I will sneak a camera in. Okay, we are documenting our experience at at that museum.
I mean, if I can buy a plane ticket, I have somewhere else I'm going first.
I mean, sure, but I'm just saying for the content, bro.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely that'll be a fun video to make. Maybe at that point we'll have an editor and they can make it a real video.
Right? Oh shit, that was the last one. Okay. Like I went into this whole fucking thing, and then at the end, it's like for more, on the Twitter files. You just watched a clip from our Twitch channel, Fabian Liberty. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe here on YouTube, or go ahead and give us a follow on twitch.tv/Fabian Liberty.